this type of game and the streak that they're on, they're hot at the right time. We're getting into March. How dangerous is this team? I mean, just to kind of give you guys the scenario, I don't know if you saw, but former guest of the show, Mr. Rear Admiral himself, said they are not really a threat to anybody in the first round. I'm not so sure I'd side with that one.
Yeah, I
Lit-
totally disagree with that, mainly just because it's like if you get into the first round, you're a threat.
True.
Anyone can beat anyone in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We saw the LA Kings win 2 Stanley Cups by literally doing that. So that's, anyone can do anything in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That being said, I
Right.
do have concern between the pipes mostly. I think
Yeah.
that's a team that I don't know. I don't know if they're looking to add a goalie because I think there's a lot of other teams that are hurting worse for a goalie, like New Jersey and Edmonton are probably thinking they absolutely need a goalie, whereas Detroit, they might be kind of convincing themselves they don't. I would, if I were them, I would feel a lot better with name any of the goalies that have been rumored on the market right now. Now, what are you going to have to give up to get him? Obviously, that's another question. But that if you ask me what I'm concerned about with the Wings, it's goaltending for sure.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that in the fact that basically what this team does at the deadline is probably going to determine what happens to them this year. I think in the grand scheme of things, they're probably still a year or two away from being a legitimate contender in the East. We'll see if they decide to, Mac, like you said, we don't know what that price is going to be for a goaltender. We'll see if they decide to make a move like that, maybe to a team who's not going to make the postseason this year. I don't know what that price would look like, but it's going to be interesting to see if they actually put a deal in place at the deadline.
Yeah, Lyon's been good for them this year. He's on my fantasy team. He's been great for me, honestly. But he did the same thing in Florida last season a little bit, right? He comes in and he stabilizes things when you might not think that he will. He did it last year. He's doing it this year. He's played great for them. I would agree. I don't know how that's going to look in the postseason, and if he ends up getting rattled, you might want to have a insurance marker there. I know, you look at the goalies on the market. Markstrom's obviously one of the big names. I know the Penguins are maybe rumored to be trading Nedeljkovic or Jari. We'll see what happens with that. So there's definitely some names available for the Wings, whether they go after it or not. Not sure, but I would imagine they're going to be aggressive. I think they have a good chance at making the second round, to be honest with you.
Soros also available out of
Yep.
Nashville.
Yep.
I mean, Elvis, an option in Columbus.
Honestly, Elvis or Saros, they get that and that goaltender can start playing well in front of them before the playoffs. And I would start sweating if I was some teams in the
Yeah.
East.
Yeah.
Because they're also coming into this postseason in theory with nothing to lose.
True.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
very
a
accurate.
big I mean, I've said this about the Caps before, and you see the Wings are a great example of this too. That's why I'll bring it up real quick. But you see people on like Caps Twitter specifically being like, "Oh, why are we even going to try to sneak into the playoffs? Because if we get in, we're not going to go anywhere." To me, it's not about that. It's about you want if you're the Caps, you want guys like McMichael and Protus and even Strom to get those playoff reps in now, so that next year they want to come back and they're not shell shocked and they're hungrier for it. I think the Wings are in that exact same spot where it's like doesn't matter what happens once you get in, just get in, and then as Nick said, anything can happen. But even more than that, it's just getting reps, getting guys in those playoff games as early as possible in their career.
Yeah, get Cider involved in what it's like to play top D minutes in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Mac, to build on your point, I think it also sets them up. It's like, hey, this team got into the playoffs. Now all these free agents are going, shit, do I want to go play for the Red Wings now? I think I
Yep,
do.
absolutely. It just cements them as like a serious hockey team again, and
Yep.
people can start to consider them that.
Yeah, I don't know any major Swedish hockey playing name that would love to go
Oh
to
my God.
the Red Wings. They love their Swedes. He's got some teammates over there, Lucas Raymond too. I don't know, from Team Sweden back in the day, but we'll get into that in a little bit.